Growing up in Oakland, California was not easy. There was a nurture of violence which cradled upon those who roamed the streets. And as a result, many became a product of that environment. And for many, tomorrow never came. Do you know what it's like staring down the barrel of a gun or losing friends to drugs or gang violence? After listening to my testimony, you will all believe that God has a purpose in our life because God creates change and God encourages us to have faith regardless of the outcome. If I can change, we all can change. Today, if there's one word to describe my life, it's redeemed. Why was it when we were young, we were so blinded by the truth? Why was it so hard to obey and so easy to fall into temptation? Speaking for myself, I can honestly say that whether you call it luck or a miracle, I'm happy to be alive. And to be honest, I don't deserve it. Now, unfortunately, I can't get into the details of all the wrongs that I've done, but I can honestly share that at the lowest point in my life, I honestly didn't care what I did, if something happened to me, or who I hurt. Drugs were like my God, and alcohol fueled my spirit. However, one night, as I was leaving my house, others were trying to make sure I never made it back. As I entered my vehicle, bullets riddled in my direction. Although this wasn't the first violent encounter, this one hit the hardest because it happened in front of my home. In fact, it was my mother's tears and prayers after that night, which she insisted it was a miracle and not luck, somehow reached God. And like a wildfire, God transformed me. What's funny, God had a Zoom meeting ready. He was just waiting for me to join the class. So, when the going gets tough, rely on God. I'm not here to preach to you and tell you that I have all the answers in faith or that believing in God is going to make all things better. I'm sure each and one of you have had trials and tribulations that have or still are affecting you to this day. Maybe it's the pandemic. But I can assure you that with faith, all is possible. It seems that growing up, we had so many excuses as why we should hurt one another. We were so quick to judge without compassion. Now, today, among the pandemic, we are all looking for compassion and mercy from this horrible disease. As a father and a husband, my first instinct is to protect my family at whatever cost. And as we see the number of cases and casualties rise in our community, at times I stop and wonder, when is God going to step in? Or will he? And because there is a genuine threat, it's so easy to fall astray due to fear. However, bullets didn't stop me, knives didn't stop me, drugs didn't stop me, gangs didn't stop me. There has to be a purpose. There has to be a reason. One of the most important things I've learned from all this is that God wants us to have faith in ourselves so we can achieve what we set out for in life with meaning. It's not about waiting for change. It's how we confess and visibly create change. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in Him, and He will act. Psalms 37, verse 5. Remember, to live by faith is to accept what God has planned for you. To accept God, our transformation becomes paramount. Oftentimes we make decisions because it glorifies us. We forget that all lives matter. I hope with all sincerity, as we live through this pandemic, that you all have faith, that you all trust in God. If not, trust in something greater than this world. Have faith that a great change will occur because nothing else seems to matter, seems to be working. I'm living proof that God exists, that change could happen. It's never too late to change. But remember that tomorrow may never come. So who's ready for change?